Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes how Germany's debt break broke the budget. Inflation puts U.S. Black Friday crowds in a bargain-hunting mood. He is remorseful, Stan Grant social media abusers charge dismissed on mental health grounds. With 7 in double figures, Syracuse routs Chaminade 105-56 at Maui Invitational. Number 22 James Madison pummels Fresno State 95-64 at Cancun Challenge Championship. How Germany's debt break broke the budget. Financial Times. Germany's constitutional debt break, introduced in 2009, is being blamed for the current budget crisis. The break limits the federal government's structural deficit to 0.35% of GDP and prevents Germany's 16 federal states from running any deficits. Ministers have used increasingly elaborate tricks to get around the break, but Germany's constitutional court has now called out this behavior. Many on the left are blaming the break for the crisis and calling for it to be scrapped. The rule has indeed provided an element of stability, with Germany consistently running balanced budgets and reducing its debt-to-GDP ratio to 60% by 2019. However, other EU countries have been reluctant to copy Germany's experiment, and the German government has used various special vehicles to bypass the rules, creating a contradiction that has now been exposed. Some argue that the debt break can be eased during recessions and crises, but others are less sure and are calling for reform. Any change to the constitution would require a two-thirds majority in the Bundestag, and it is unclear whether the opposition Christian Democrats would support such a change. Inflation puts U.S. Black Friday crowds in a bargain-hunting mood. Financial Times. U.S. retailers are expecting a record number of shoppers on Black Friday, but higher prices are causing consumers to spend less. The National Retail Federation expects 182 million people to shop between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday, 16 million more than last year and the most since the NRF began tracking the data in 2017. However, spending for the entire season is only expected to keep pace with inflation, with holiday sales predicted to grow 3.3%, below the pre-pandemic average. Retailers are responding by offering steeper discounts, with some retailers stating they may be managing through a period of deflation. He is remorseful, Stan Grant social media abusers charge dismissed on mental health grounds. ABC. An Australian man accused of making online threats against former ABC journalist Stan Grant on social media has had his charge dismissed on mental health grounds. Michael Stephen Davis had pleaded guilty to using his Facebook and Twitter profiles to threaten serious harm by assaulting the victim in May this year. Mr. Davis appeared in court on Thursday and his barrister argued that the charge should be dismissed as he suffered from a severe bipolar disorder. The court heard that Mr. Davis had a history of serious mental health issues and had previously been barred from social media platforms for airing COVID-19 conspiracies. With 7 in double figures, Syracuse routs Chaminade 105-56 at Maui Invitational. Associated Press. Syracuse defeated Chaminade 105-56 in the final day of the Maui Invitational. Chris Bell led the Orange with 18 points, while Justin Taylor recorded his first career double-double with 14 points and 10 rebounds. Syracuse had 7 players score in double figures. The Orange had scoring runs of 12, 11, and 10-0 in the first half and led 52-18 at halftime. Chaminade shot only 30% for the game. Syracuse improved to 10-2 all-time at the Maui Invitational. Number 22 James Madison pummels Fresno State 95-64 at Cancun Challenge Championship. Associated Press. Number 22 James Madison dominated Fresno State in the Cancun Challenge Championship, winning 95-64. James Madison jumped out to a large lead in the first 9 minutes of the game and never trailed. Noah Friedel led James Madison with 26 points, while TJ Bickerstaff added 15 points. Eduardo Andre and Isaiah Hill each scored 12 points for Fresno State. James Madison is now 6-0 and averaging 92 points per game. Juju Watkins has 31 points, last 7 of game. Number 8 USC women edge Penn State 71-70 in Bahamas. Associated Press. The number 8 Southern California Trojans defeated the Penn State Nittany Lions 71-70 in a close game at the Baha Mar Pink Flamingo Championship in the Bahamas. USC's Juju Watkins scored 31 points, including a game-winning half-court buzzer beater, to secure the victory. The Trojans led by 8 points early in the fourth quarter, but Penn State went on a 14-0 run to take a 4-point lead. Watkins ended a scoring drought with a layup and a three-pointer, and then put the Trojans back in the lead with a layup. She also recorded her first double-double with 12 rebounds. Shea Siezdke led Penn State with 18 points. Biden administration defends West Point's race-conscious admissions policy. Yahoo! The Biden administration urged a federal judge to reject a legal challenge to the U.S. military academy at West Point's consideration of race in admissions, saying that Army diversity was integral to ensuring national security. Bloom's group in a lawsuit filed in September alleged the Academy's admissions practices discriminated against white applicants and violated the principle of equal protection in the U.S. Constitution's Fifth Amendment. Rescue mission to save men trapped in Himalayan tunnel don't get much harder, Australian expert says. ABC. Rescuers are using advanced tunneling equipment to create doors in order to save 41 workers trapped in a collapsed tunnel in India. They are also attempting to reach the men by drilling vertically into the area. The men have been stuck in the tunnel for over a week and are being supplied with essentials such as oxygen, food, water, and medicine via a pipe. The cause of the collapse is currently unknown, however, authorities have said the region is prone to landslides, earthquakes, and floods. Pressure mounts on China as Philippines says it will never give an inch. South China Morning Post. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has said that Manila will not give up any territory in the South China Sea, amid growing tensions with China in the disputed region. Marcos made the comments at a forum in Honolulu, without naming China. They followed a meeting between the Philippine leader and Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation (APEC) summit. The Philippine Coast Guard recently accused China of engaging in unprovoked acts of coercion and dangerous maneuvers in the South China Sea. The Philippines has recently drawn closer to the U.S. and its allies over the issue. The two countries have held joint military exercises and Manila has granted the U.S. access to 4 new bases. Analysts have suggested that China needs to build trust with the region and soften its aggressive approach to stop countries gravitating towards the West. Go ahead, scroll your smartphone this Thanksgiving. Wall Street Journal. Smartphones have received a bad reputation for detracting from social events, but the Wall Street Journal argues that they can improve table conversation, particularly for the hard of hearing. People at a party can lay their smartphones on the table and use earphones to separate spoken words from background noise. There is also some improvement in the ability to converse with those who are not physically present, such as sending texts and photos to loved ones. From kindergarten to year 12, students rally in CBD to support Palestine. The Sydney Morning Herald. Hundreds of school students in Melbourne took to the streets to rally in support of Palestine. The students, ranging from kindergartners to year 12 students, gathered on the steps of Flinders Street Station and marched through the city chanting slogans. The rally was organized by School Students for Palestine, and the turnout exceeded expectations. The students expressed their belief that it was their right to be politically active and criticized politicians for discouraging their participation. The event received support from the local community and resulted in no arrests. Just called up from minors, Tufts scores go-ahead goal in third to help Avalanche beat Canucks 5-2. The Globe and Mail. The Colorado Avalanche beat the Vancouver Canucks 5-2 on Wednesday night. Riley Tufts scored the go-ahead goal 24 seconds into the third period, Cale Makar added a goal later in the third, and Mikko Rantanen scored into an empty net. Valeri Nichushkin and Jonathan Drouin also had goals for the Avalanche. JT Miller and Nils Höglander scored for the Canucks. It was Tufts' first goal with the Avalanche, who recalled him from the AHL. Trayvon Brazile has career game against Stanford. Yahoo! Trayvon Brazile, a forward for the Arkansas Razorbacks basketball team, had a standout performance in their recent victory over Stanford. He had a career day, showing off his skills and contributing to the team's success. What college football games are on today? Week 13 NCAA Top 25 schedule, TV channels, how to watch. Yahoo! The college football Week 13 schedule includes a highly anticipated matchup between number 2 Ohio State and number 3 Michigan, as well as other ranked games such as number 11 Penn State versus Michigan State and number 6 Oregon versus number 16 Oregon State. The full list of games and how to watch them is provided in the article. The Ohio State versus Michigan game will be broadcast on Fox at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. What to do when you hate your first year of university. The Sydney Morning Herald. A student writing for the Sydney Morning Herald has said that networking clubs and societies at university helped her more than her actual degree. The student said that although she didn't enjoy studying, she excelled in clubs and societies and even landed a job because of them. The student recommended that new students try things outside of the classroom and make mistakes to help find what they love. Well, my dear viewers. It's your favorite observer from the 6 dimensions, Dr. Six, here to bring you the latest news from around the world. Let's dive right in and start with Germany's debt break that seems to have broken the budget. It turns out that this fancy rule, which limits the government's deficit and prevents states from running deficits, has caused quite a crisis. People on the left want it gone, while others argue for reform. Looks like Germany's balancing act has hit a snag. In the US, it's Black Friday, and retailers are expecting a record number of shoppers. But here's the twist: higher prices are making people spend less. So, while there might be more people out hunting for bargains, they might not be spending as much as before. Retailers are even offering steeper discounts to entice shoppers. Who would have thought that inflation could dampen the Black Friday spirit? Moving down under, we have a case of online abuse dismissed on mental health grounds. An Australian man threatened a former journalist on social media, but his charge was dropped because of his severe bipolar disorder. Now, I'm not a doctor, but maybe he should stick to sharing cat memes instead of spreading hate online. Just a thought. In sports news, we've got some basketball action. Syracuse dominated Chaminade in the Maui Invitational, while James Madison pummeled Fresno State in the Cancun Challenge Championship. And in a thrilling women's game, the USC Trojans edged out Penn State with a game-winning buzzer beater. Talk about some nail-biting action on the court. Now, let's take a quick trip to the world of politics. The Biden administration is defending West Point's race-conscious admissions policy, arguing that diversity is crucial for national security. Meanwhile, the pressure is mounting on China as the Philippines vows to never give an inch in the South China Sea. Looks like tensions are rising, and trust needs to be built if China wants to avoid countries leaning towards the West. It's like a game of geopolitics chess. But hey, it's not all serious stuff. The Wall Street Journal is here to remind us that our smartphones can actually improve table conversation. No, seriously. They can help the hard of hearing and even connect us with loved ones who couldn't make it to Thanksgiving dinner. So, go ahead, scroll away during your holiday feast. And speaking of feasts, school students in Melbourne rallied in support of Palestine, showing their political activism and criticizing politicians for discouraging their participation. Looks like the kids are all right and ready to make their voices heard. In the world of sports, the Colorado Avalanche skated to victory against the Vancouver Canucks, and a basketball player from the Arkansas Razorbacks had a career day against Stanford. These athletes are making their mark on the field and the court. Lastly, for all you college football fans out there, Week 13 has some exciting matchups, including the highly anticipated game between Ohio State and Michigan. So, grab your foam fingers and get ready for some intense gridiron action. Now, my dear viewers, it's time for you to share your thoughts. What do you make of Germany's debt break dilemma? Are you a Black Friday bargain hunter or a budget-conscious shopper? And how about those students rallying for Palestine? I want to hear your brilliant insights and burning questions. Let's get the conversation going. That's all for today, folks. Stay curious, stay informed, and always keep your sixth sense tingling. Until next time, this is Dr. Six signing off. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.